Hey everyone, Laura Koval with Able Veg, and I'm tucked down here in this front corner of my garden because I am harvesting the peanuts that I grew today. So it's a fall day here. We've had a couple frosts. You can see from the peanut foliage here, there's still some leaves that are kind of holding on, but essentially our season is over. So growing peanuts is something that's fun, very easy if you live in a good climate for it. So these guys are easy to grow. Fun fact about these, they're not actually a nut at all. These guys are actually in the legume family, so same thing as peas and beans are. They do need to be planted from seed peanuts. So if you have peanuts that are just at home and you've roasted them, those are not going to grow. So you want to be sure that you're selecting seed peanuts specifically made for growing in your garden. All right, so once you have your peanuts in the ground, you'll want to plant them about 8 to 10 inches apart. That's going to vary a little bit depending on the exact variety of peanut that you get. So be sure that you're checking your package instructions. And these guys then will start growing pretty easily. Make sure you water them in like you would any other plant. These are an interesting plant because the flowers are above ground. They get these pretty little yellow flowers, but then the flower isn't what turns into the peanut. Actually, they send down these little tiny shoots that will grow. They're called pegs, and the pegs go down actually into the soil. Then your peanuts are going to form on those. It almost looks like they're rooting down in the soil there and forming these peanuts. So they grow underground, which is pretty cool. So these guys do not need or do not like cold. They are actually tucked in a pretty insulated corner, which is why we have any of the green foliage left at all. But for the most part, they're going to want warm weather. So you need a warm climate. In Tulsa, we're in zone 7 here, and you need 100+ days of warm in order to get them going. So make sure that you're in a climate that you can utilize those, but you can also start them indoors if you need a few extra days. You can select varieties that are going to take a little bit less time. So do your research before you plant them out in your garden. You can also extend the season a little bit with frost protection if you need to do that. So once these are established, eventually they're going to start having some leaves that turn yellow naturally. We had some of that happening. When you see the leaves turn yellow, that means that your peanuts are basically ready to go. We also, right around that time, had our first frost. If frost kills them, then obviously it's time to pull up your peanuts. So all you do when you're wanting to harvest these guys is go down to the base of the plant. I like to use my hands to scoop them out just because if you use a trowel, sometimes you can sever the nut. And when you get those, then you really can't use them, or you have to use them right away because they're not dried out. So you'll just go at the base. And I'm going to dig a big clump of this out. We grew these in grow bags this year. And then once your soil falls away, you'll start seeing some of these peanuts around the outside of your plants. So you'll want to keep digging because remember, they're not right by the roots. They're going to be surrounding essentially the plant. I'm going to pull some of this out of the way so we can get to our peanuts under there. And look at the size of these plants. They get big. They're very attractive. They did great in our grow bags. First year we did them in grow bags and they did phenomenal. And then you're just going to start digging. And you'll see these little nuts appearing right around the root structure. So you'll keep digging all of these up. Take some time to sift through your soil. I'll usually with our grow bags scoot all the soil to one side and then continue to dig them up. All right guys, so we got a great harvest of peanuts this year. So these guys are going to be very tasty treats over the holidays. So generally once you bring them in, rinse them off, dry them, give them some time inside in kind of a warm, dry place out of the sun. Once you get them in there, then you can decide if you want to boil them. Don't boil them. I hate boiled peanuts. Or you can roast them. They are edible as is though if you prefer to do that. But generally roasting is going to bring out, I think, the best flavor for these. As an added bonus, now you see the grow bags behind me. I got a great crop of peanuts, and also These grow bags have had nitrogen added to the soil this year because these guys are in the legume family. Legumes pull in atmospheric nitrogen and add it into your grow bag. So we've already had some soil amending going on from these. So I hope you grow some peanuts. These guys are fun to grow, fun to enjoy, especially around the holidays.